Our journey begins in the 1930s with Dr. J.B. Rhine at Duke University, who pioneered the first systematic laboratory research into telepathy, which he called General Extrasensory Perception, or GESP. Rhine's card-guessing experiments with Zener cards, featuring simple symbols like circles, squares, and stars, showed statistical results that couldn't be explained by chance alone. But the real breakthrough came decades later with the development of the Ganzfeld protocol. In these experiments, a receiver sits in a relaxed state with halved ping-pong balls over their eyes and white noise in their ears, creating a uniform sensory field. Meanwhile, a sender in another room views a randomly selected image or video clip. The receiver then describes their mental impressions, and independent judges compare these descriptions to the actual target. Meta-analyses of hundreds of these studies consistently show hit rates significantly above chance, providing some of the most robust laboratory evidence for telepathic information transfer. Perhaps the most fascinating chapter in telepathy research comes from formally classified government programs. During the Cold War, both the United States and Soviet Union invested heavily in psychic research, fearing the other side might gain a strategic advantage. The U.S. program, initially called Stargate and run by agencies like the CIA and DIA, trained individuals in remote viewing, a controlled form of clairvoyance where viewers could describe distant locations, objects, or events they had no normal way of knowing about. Declassified documents reveal that remote viewers successfully described Soviet military facilities, hidden weapons caches, and even located missing persons. While the programs were eventually discontinued, not because they didn't work, but due to inconsistent results and changing priorities, the fact that intelligence agencies spent decades and millions of dollars on this research speaks volumes about the seriousness of the phenomenon they were investigating. Modern neuroscience is now bringing telepathy research into the 21st century by looking for its biological signatures. Researchers using EEG and fMRI have conducted experiments where pairs of people are isolated in separate rooms, with one person shown stimuli like flashes of light or emotional images, while both their brains are monitored. Remarkably, studies have shown correlated brain activity patterns between sender and receiver, particularly in areas associated with visual processing and emotional response, even when the receiver has no sensory access to the stimuli. Some experiments have even attempted direct brain-to-brain communication using technology as an intermediary, successfully transmitting simple thoughts or commands. While these findings are preliminary, they represent a crucial shift, from treating telepathy as a statistical anomaly to investigating it as a potential biological process with measurable neural correlates. Telepathy research isn't confined to any one country or institution. It's a truly global scientific endeavor. In the UK, researchers at universities like Edinburgh and Goldsmiths have conducted rigorous experiments. In Europe, institutions in Germany, the Netherlands, and Italy have contributed significant studies. Japanese researchers have explored cultural aspects, while Indian scientists have drawn connections to ancient yogic traditions. This international effort has produced various theoretical frameworks attempting to explain how telepathy might work. Some models suggest quantum entanglement at the biological level, others propose non-local consciousness existing beyond the brain, while some researchers explore information field theories or extended mind hypotheses. The diversity of approaches strengthens the overall case, showing that the phenomenon appears consistently across different cultures and methodological frameworks. No discussion of telepathy would be complete without addressing the skeptical perspective. Critics raise valid concerns about methodological flaws, potential sensory leakage, experimenter bias, and the file drawer problem, where negative results go unpublished. Some argue that positive findings represent statistical flukes or clever fraud. However, proponents counter that telepathy research has evolved to address these concerns through double-blind protocols, automated randomization, and pre-registered studies. According to Dr. Dean Radin, chief scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, meta-analyses of thousands of experiments across decades show effect sizes comparable to those in established social sciences. The current scientific consensus among researchers in the field is that telepathy represents what they call a robust, repeatable phenomenon, an established anomaly that consistently appears in properly controlled experiments, even if mainstream science hasn't fully accepted it yet. So what does all this evidence mean for our understanding of consciousness and reality? If telepathy is real, even in a limited form, it challenges fundamental assumptions of materialist science. Specifically, the idea that mind is purely a product of brain activity confined within the skull. The data suggests consciousness might be non-local, capable of operating beyond the conventional boundaries of space and time. This doesn't mean we're all constantly reading each other's thoughts, but rather that under certain conditions, often involving relaxation, emotional connection, or altered states, information can transfer between minds without sensory mediation. This represents what philosopher of science Thomas Kuhn would call an anomaly that current paradigms can't easily explain. The growing body of evidence places the burden of proof increasingly on those who claim telepathy is impossible, rather than on those investigating it.